Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to draft this 12 pieces gown. So please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, press the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video, like and share this video. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 divided by 2. I have 8 plus half an inch for the joining. So this is my 8.5. Just measure down. For the neck, I will measure 3 inches. We also adjust that measurement. We are going to be adjusting this measurement. So on this part, you take down 1 inch. So this is my 1 inch. Then I'll connect the line from this point to this 1 inch. So now we are going to be determining the arm scape. So to get your arm scape, you divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5. You can also use 1 inches. But if you have been following my tutorial, you know I always like to use 7. It depends on what you want. So I'll just take down 7 inches. So this is my 7 inches. Then I'll roll it down. Then I'll roll the line like this. So this is what I have. So the next thing I will do, I'll be taking my horizontal measurement. So from the shoulder line, my bust point measurement is 11.5. So I'll be using 11.5 here. So I'll mark out 11.5. Then my under bust measurement is 16. So I'll mark out 16 here. So when you add 3 inches to your under bust, you get your waist measurement. Mine is 19. So you can see this is 19. So what I have here now is 20. So I'll just leave it. So what I have here is 20. So I'll just leave it. So the next thing I'll do, I will rule the lines. So this is my bust line. So this is my under bust, and this is my waistline. So the next thing we'll be doing, we determine the dart. How do you get your dart? Your nipple to nipple measurement. That one apex to from one apex to another. So apex to apex measurement is 9. When you divide it by 2, I have 4.5. So I'll be adding half an inch to it to make it 5. So this is my 5 inches. So now that I have 5 inches here, on the under bust line, I will minus half an inch from it. That means I'll be measuring 4.5 on this part. Then on the waistline too, I'll measure 4.5. So I'll rule it out. So on this line, I'll get the midpoint, which is 3.5. So this is my 3.5 here. I'll go in by half an inch on this part. Then I'll connect it. So I'll connect it from this point to this half an inch. From here to this point. Then from here to this point. If you look at the style very well, you notice that the center front on this part is a little bit high. Not very low, but some is high. So on this part, I'll just measure out 3 inches. So this is my 3 inches. So I'll be connecting this line to these 3 inches on this part. So I'm going to be putting another line, and that line will be my upper bust measurement. So the measurement I have for my bust point to my under bust is 4.5. I also measured it out here, which is 4.5 here. So this will be my upper bust measurement. Let me just rule it. This will be my upper bust measurement. The same distance you have from here to here is the same distance I have from here to this point. So on the under bust measurement, you can determine how many inches you want to take for your dart. For a bust 45, which I'm using, I'll be using 2.5 because 2.5 works. So, if it's a smaller size, you can reduce the measurement. So this is my 2.5. Then on this line where I have my upper bust, this particular line, I also measure out 2.5. On this point, I will measure out 2.5. So this is my 2.5. 5. This one. So I'll be connecting it from this line to this point and to this side. But I will not connect straight to this line. I will measure out 1 inch up and 1 inch down. Then I'll connect the lines. Then I'll roll this part down. On this part, I'll just roll it down. This part, I'll be extending the line. So the distance from this dark line to this dark line, let me measure it. I have 3 inches. So I will extend this line by 3 inches here. You can even do more like this. So I'm adding extra half an inch. I can always trim it out. So I'll connect it from here to this point. So I have to redraw my armhole measurement. So let me extend this line. So now that we have this, we are going to be imputing our measurement. So my bust is 45 divided by 4. I have 11.25. So I will just place the measurement here. Then the under bust is 37. 37 divided by 4. I have 9.25. So this is my 9.25. So this extra 2.5 inches, I will add it back. Note I have not added my allowance to it. This is just my basic. Then the waistline is 44. When you divide it by 4, I have 11. So this is my 11 inches. Then the 2.5 inches here, I'll place it back. So this is my 2.5 here. So the next thing I'll do, I'll just connect the lines. This is like we are going to impute our bust measurement here. My bust measurement for 45 divided by 4, I have 11.25. So this is 11.25. You measure this dart that we have here. What I have here is like 1.5. So I'll place it here, 1.5. Add our allowance, 1.5 on this part. Then I will reconnect the armhole. And I'll connect these lines. Side that we are sewing, this is the center front. And this side, it was divided into two. This particular part on this part, it was divided into two. So that's why we have 5 panels at the front and also at the back. So on this part, we are going to also divide it into 2. The under bust line, what we have here is 5 inches. So I'll measure out 2.5 inches. So this is 2.5. Then for the waistline, I'll look for the midpoint. Let me fold it in. So I'll place this is my midpoint. I'll place it here for the. Also on the bust line, 6.5. I'll fold it into 2 like this to get the midpoint. Then I'll place it here. So this is it. So I'll rule out the lines. So I've ruled out the line here. Then I'll connect this line to this point. The end of the armhole on this point. So let me label it. So this is the center front. So let's label it 1. Then this part is 2. And this other part to be number 3. As you can see, it's the panel dress. So I'll be adding enough allowance. I don't want to have shortage at all. So on this part, I'll be placing, I can add as much as 3 inches to it. 3 inches. It's better, it's more than enough than it's not enough. So I'll be adding extra 3. You can even add more. Even on this part, I'll be adding extra 3 inches. So I'll just connect it out, as you can see. So the neckline, you can determine what you want. If you want 4 inches, so I'll measure down 4 inches. Although I'll cut out the neckline after I've cut out the fabric. But let me just add it to it. So 4 by 4 inches, then I'll connect it. Then on the shoulder side, you measure out half an inch for the shoulder joining. You can see this is the half an inch for the shoulder joining. So now that we have this, so the next thing I'll be doing is to cut out. So this is it. So this is how we are going to be placing it on our fabric to cut out. For the back part, I'll be drafting out my basic bodice pattern for the back. So on this part, I'll leave out 1 inch or 1.5 inches as my zipper allowance. So this will be for this. I'll quickly just draft out the back. The same length I took for the front, which is 20 inches, is the same length I'm taking for the back. So for my dart, I'll be using 5 inches. Let me indicate the bust line, which is 11.5, and the under bust line, which is 16. Let me just indicate it. So after drawing out my dart, I'll be placing my basic measurement. So on this part, I'll place my bust measurement, which is 11.25. The same thing, I'll do the same thing here. Then my waistline is 11. So on this waistline, I'll come up by 1.5 inches here. So this is what I'll be doing my back shaping. So I will shape it in by half an inch on this part. So I'll connect it to meet this zipper line from this half an inch to this line. So now remember for the front, we took 3 inches from this part. So I'll take the same 3 inches on this part. Then I'll connect these 3 inches to this line. So now we are going to create another panel on this part, just the way we did for the front. Part what we have here is almost 6.5. So I'll just fold it into two like this to get the midpoint. Then I'll place it here. I'll do the same thing for the bottom, which is 6, making it 3 inches. So for the other bust measurement, I have 37 inches divided by 4. I have 9.25. So on this part, I'll place my 9.25 here. So that means I have to reconnect this line. Sorry for that. So what we have here now is 3 inches, as you can see. Then the midpoint of this is it. Then we'll do the same thing for the other bust. 4.75. I'll just fold it into two to get the midpoint. Then I'll place it here. So the next thing we are going to do is to connect. So let me label it. We also do the same thing. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So we just draw out the armhole from here. I will draw it to meet the bust line. So this line, I will just connect it straight down to this point. Then this line, I also connect it straight down to this point. So for the fact that we are going to cut out this line, that means we are going to be joining. There's going to be joining on this part, like maybe one inch joining. So I have to extend the line. By 1 inch. I have to extend the line because if you cut it exactly like this, by the time you sew it, it will not mash up. So you extend the line. So to avoid the shortage, just extend the line. Then we are going to reconnect our armhole. It's better you have more than enough. You can always trim it out. Then on the shoulder line, we'll move our 1 inch for the shoulder joining. For the back neckline, you just determine what you want. So I'll be using 1.5. Then for the width, I'll be using 4 inches. So remember the front, we added extra 3 inches. So we'll do the same thing for the back. On this zipper line, you can see that we came in by half an inch. So from that half an inch, we'll measure out 1 inch. So I'll be removing out half an inch, then I'll reconnect the line, then out. So I'll be cutting it out. On our fabric, this part will be open because this is where we are going to be fixing our zip. So this for the back, as you can see, back, and this for the front. So this is what we are going to be placing on our fabric to cut. Like I said, this is the easiest method. As you can see, we are going to be cutting out the front pattern. So this is the front pattern. That's what we are going to be cutting out. Combining it with my black fabric. I'll combine this fabric with the black fabric. So the first thing you're going to do, you fold your fabric into two like this, because we are going to be cutting on fold. We are going to be cutting on fold. So you place it like this. So at this point, you can determine how wide you want your fillet to be. So the first thing you take the full length of the dress that you're making. So the full length of the dress I'm working with is 47. I added extra 2 inches to make it 49. So I'll mark out my 49 inches. So this is my 49 inches. So I'll take my center front. As you can see, this is the center front. I'll place it like this on this line. On this 49 inches I measured from here to this point. As you can see, this how. Then I will rule this. I will rule out this line. Remember when we were drafting this particular pattern, on this front side I added the sewing allowance. So now I'll not be adding any sewing allowance on this part, but for the other patterns I'll be adding sewing allowance. So you place it like this from here. Then from this point we connect it straight down. The next thing we are going to do is to cut out. So you place something heavy on this part. You can place something that is heavy on this your pattern paper. Then we are going to cut exactly what we have here. Or better still, you can draw the line. You can use your chalk to draw the line like this. So now we are going to cut out. So I've cut it out. So my phone was not recording while I was cutting it out. So it's exactly what I've said. The same measurement, as you can see. So I will notch this waist part and also notch the bust point. So this is the center front. So we'll be cutting out the side. So to cut out this pattern too, we are going to be using the same method. You measure out the exact length. First of all, you measure out the exact length, which is 49. I'll do that. So this is the 40. So I'll be placing this pattern. So in order for us not to be confused, I'll be using this pattern as a guide. So you place it like this. So the main point we need here is the bust line. So this is the bust line. So I'll mark out the bust line. I'll mark it out from here. I'll just give a line like this to indicate the bust line. It will be easy for us to cut out. Easy for us to cut out. So now I'll be placing this pattern here like this, the nipple point on this exact line. As you can see, this is the exact line. Then I'll be connecting it from this point to that point, then from here to the other side. So before we cut, I'll be adding extra half an inch on this part like this, half an inch for the sewing. I'll do the same thing on this part. So you're not cutting directly exactly what you have on your pattern, on your paper. You add extra half an inch like this to it. You also do the same thing on this side, half an inch. you add half an inch all the way around. They will connect it from this point to that point and from here to the other side. So this is what we have. So now we are going to be cutting out. So I'll mark out the bust point and notch it. Now we're going to be cutting out the pattern 3, as you can see. So you know pattern 3 is like this. You can see that is how it is on the pattern. Exactly what it is here. So I'll use this as a guide to cut it out. So the next, what I'll do, I'll just mark out the bust point. So this is my bust point. So this is the bust point. Let me roll it out. So I'll place this bust point also. I'll place it like this. Place it at the middle like this. I'll use this pattern to get the length of the dress. So I'll be marking out. So I'll be marking out on this point the length of the dress. So I've marked out the length. So now we are going to be connecting. So this is our cutout so far, as you can see. So this is the cutout for the front. So we are cutting out for the back. The same thing we did for the front, we are going to do the same thing for the back. So this is the cutout for the back, as you can see. So watch out for my next video. I'll be showing you how to join this particular piece gown. Thank you for watching. See you in my next tutorial.